Welcome everyone to our admissions webinar to discuss and explore your questions and your calling to look at the Integrative Healing Arts Practitioner Diploma, specifically for on campus at Southwest Institute of Healing Arts, and to talk about the Mind Body Wellness Practitioner Program on campus, talk about their similarities, differences, but most importantly, want to hear from you, like what calls you to look into this, and what brings you to this webinar today. So for those of you who are joining us, you can use the comments, you can use the Q&A there. Just type in what it is that brings you to this, what questions you have. Maybe you have a background in the wellness industry. Maybe this is a totally new career change. Maybe there's some fear, and that's okay. This is definitely the place to be. So my name's Becca Briley. I've been a success coach for Southwest Institute of Healing Arts for years. I've had the honor to work in admissions with our admissions director who's with us today as well, who's going to ask some questions. Hi, Tristan. Thanks for joining us today.
Hi, everyone.
All right. So this is the lady you want to get to talk to bring all the questions. She is here. So don't hold back, but for sure, let us know what brings you here. And as we flow through these options, I will share my screen. Raise your hand. I would love to unmute you, hear from you, and see what you want to do with this education. All right, Tristan, let me know if you can see my screen, okay?
Yes, good to go.
Perfect. Okay. So we have the newly revised Integrative Healing Arts Practitioner Diploma, which starts on campus on April 10th. And then we're going to go into what the Mind Body Wellness Practitioner Diploma is as well, which starts May 6th here on campus. And we are located in Tempe, Arizona. For those of you who've never been here, we do have students move from all kinds of different places all over the country. Tristan, you actually did that, right? You traveled here to take this, yeah?
Yeah, I moved back to Arizona from Massachusetts.
Mm. Yeah, and we hear a lot of students will actually relocate here to do our program. A lot of yogis, I think, are called to this space to dive into what we call the holistic healing arts, because it is a foundation in the mind, body, spirit education. It's all connected, and we honor the mind, body, spirit in healing. So what we're going to do is we're going to talk about really the core curriculum of each of the programs, going over the different coaching focuses and the specialties, because they're unique on campus specialties than they are online, which is the distinguisher between what you can do with each program. So let's jump into the IHAP, we call it for short. Let's go over the holistic entrepreneur core courses. And for those of you on the webinar, just let us know what program it is that you're like leaning towards, or maybe what brought you here. So we can know where to focus our time. So the core courses, and what I like to do is share my, let's see, here we go. I'm going to pull this over because I am a nerd and I love our program sheets. I think they're fabulous. So we have these core courses. These are the entrepreneurial core courses. You'll see that anything over 600 hours is considered a diploma. And we do have associate's degree options, but anything over 600 hours, if you want to use financial aid and qualify, you might be able to use that, right? If it's for career purposes. So these programs are built to help you become an entrepreneur, a solopreneur, and really build your own practice. So build your own clientele, set your own sessions, and go out and serve in the world in a loving and profitable way. So we have these core courses, which we don't have you take right away, right? We want you to kind of get your grounding, get into the curriculum itself, and then we help you look at your practice from that career mindset on how can I earn income from my offerings, right? So really how to build your brand, market yourself, and show up in the world as an entrepreneur. Is it easy? Not for everybody. It's an amazing journey. It's very challenging for some, but totally worth it. So whether you go full-time or you start part-time while you still have your day job to build up your clientele, it's going to look different for everyone, which is why it's going to be so important for you to talk to an admissions coach. So let me just zoom in a little bit. So it's broken down not in the order that you take these courses, but so that you can understand the grouping of each of the building blocks, I call them. Then you have your IHAP core courses. This is somatic psychology, heart-centered leadership, coaching the hero within, psychology of addiction, and building resiliency and stress management. Powerful courses, right? And Tristan, if there's anything you want to say, just jump in as I'm flowing through the curriculum and what students will be taking. So all of these you must take in the Integrative Healing Arts Practitioner Diploma. Powerful. And a lot of our own stuff comes up in these classes. So being ready, prepared for that. As you step into the practitioner space, we're always called to go inward, do our own work, while we are able to then show up for others, right? So then we have a coaching focus. You get to select out of these three options what your coaching focus will be. And life coaching is probably my favorite tool that I say I use all the time, every day, on myself, on my family members, with my coworkers. It changes every aspect of your life, because we can show up and ask the powerful questions, have more conscious, productive conversations, and really help your clients get to where they need to go. So health and wellness coaching is one option. Okay, we have the intuitive guidance and coaching, which is just what it sounds like, working with intuitive guides, calling on your ancestors, and really tapping into the intuition to pair that with coaching. And just the life coaching, the heart-centered approach. Tristan, what would you say, how do you describe these to people who are looking at these different focuses?
The three coaching options.
Yeah, these three.
Well, health and wellness coaching and life coaching do have a little bit of crossover. Actually, they all do. They all have the foundation of coaching, right? And understanding what it means to hold space, what it means to, ask those questions so that people, AKA clients, are able to really find their answer within, versus telling clients what the observation is, right? So I think health and wellness coaching does focus a little bit more on aspects out with the self, and sometimes specifically with health. Life coaching is all those compartments of life, romantic relationships, finances, career, spirituality. And then the intuitive coaching is going to bring in more about like, well, what is intuition, and how do I tell the difference between an intuitive thought and a self-critical thought? And bringing that into coaching. And like you said, being able to call on the different guides and ascended masters, etc., and being able to bring that into the coaching sessions or the coaching aspect of the session, because coaching is the foundation of everything that we do at SWIHA.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Amen. Awesome. And then you have these specialties. So you get to choose between these options. Again, it's similar to coaching, and I'm just going to pull the program sheet over here one more time. It helps my brain understand it better. So And I want you to see the actual courses within the program, because if you have what I call the SWIHA Bible, the SWIHA catalog in your hands, or you even get the online version, you can look up each course code here and read the actual description of each class. So within option 1, we have your focus on holistic nutrition. So you take HN, holistic nutrition. You have the exam prep when you're done with that, health conditions, anatomy of wellness, and then electives, it would be urban farming. End of life doula as a specialty was the recently added specialty, which is very exciting. And this is really about learning to hold space for those who are transitioning, to help them to see the beauty in this part of life, right? And it's not just for the person transitioning. This can be holding space for family members as well. So a lot of people called to this here recently. And then you get to decide what Reiki specialty that you want to put in with that. So we have traditional, we have shamanic, or we have holy. Tristan, what would you say to the end of life doula focus?
I think you explained it beautifully. It's not only for the person who's transitioning, but how to have that end of life celebration for the individual who's transitioning, plus the loved ones, right? And how do we deal with grief for all parties involved? I love that Reiki is also included in here. That's such a powerful energy work modality to include, to be as part of someone's healing process going through the loss of a loved one. Some say that also the skill sets that you learn in end of life could be applied to the end of a cycle, right? End of a relationship, life changes and whatnot. Of course, the focus is on end of life. And then the electives there, choosing cranial unwinding, aromatherapy, or hypnotherapy to go along with that. That's where admissions can really support each prospective student, trying to understand what would be best for them and how they show up in their practice. What tool will be best suited for that individual to suit their gifts as they take it into the world.
Yeah, that was perfect. Thank you. And then we have spiritual transformation focus, where you can select one of the Reiki modalities. Holy is more Bible-based. Shamanic, I would say, very earth realm directions, native, I would say, but also looking at your heritage, right? What is within your lineage. So getting involved with that, the natural energy of the earth and the elements. And then traditional is just the beautiful, and I call this the laying on of hands. For those of my family members, for me to explain it, I call it my Jesus work, right? Like Jesus was at people's feet. He would lay his hands on. No, I don't think I can perform miracles, but you're holding that sacred space to help the person in front of you move whatever energy they have within them that needs to move, right? Tristan, you took polarity, so I will let you explain polarity better than I can.
Well, I just love me some polarity. Polarity is truly a complete system of healing. The cranial unwinding is about the central nervous system, which I feel, my view on that is our central nervous system is like our motherboard. Polarity is for all of the body systems. So it's really looking at and learning how to acknowledge what we're holding in our body and where. Everything means something in polarity, and everything is interesting in polarity. So a typical session is some dialogue, maybe some polarity exercises that come from mostly yoga, but other aspects that Dr. Stone studied. And then getting on the table for some energetic body work. And some of it can be very sattvic, which is very light touch, gentle. There is tamastic, which might be a little bit more grounding touch. And then we have rajastic to kind of get things moving throughout the body. That is barely scratching the surface. Polarity is truly one of those things that you need to experience, which we do have our specialty clinic that the sessions are only $15 on campus. It comes around 2 or 3 times a year. So you have not experienced polarity, whether you're interested in taking it and adding it to your repertoire or
Mhm.
not, it's really great for anyone's healing journey for sure.
Yeah, very powerful. Um, Advanced hypnotherapy. Hypnotherapy is one of my favorites. I call it life coaching on steroids, which it is like a subconscious coaching, right? You let the person lead wherever it is that they need to go. We don't focus on the past. We integrate what the client is calling into their reality now and moving forward. So, I gotta say, it took me almost a decade to warm up to getting a hypnotherapy session. And the first time I did, was before I spoke at Gifts and Graces. I didn't want to use one word, and it worked fabulously. I was amazed and very happy at the outcome. I then took hypnotherapy and love writing scripts for clients. So if you have this calling to hold that space, you do learn different cues, how to take someone under sooner than later, how to test them to see how willing and able they are to go. But really just showing up as that professional. And then you get to choose your elective. So you could do like fears, phobias, addiction, script writing, what else? Fear, like metaphors, dreams. It's just amazing the capabilities that you can do with hypnotherapy. And then yoga as a focus, obviously you can become a yoga facilitator, a yoga instructor, and yoga nidra is a part of that. We call our program at SWIHA Unity Yoga, and we have our own branch next door to our aesthetics branch, SWINA and SWIHA. It's called Spirit of Yoga. So it really does feel like a yoga studio. You get to practice, you get to lead, you actually have a practicum at the end of your yoga program where real clients, real people will come into the room and you guide them. How scary was that, Tristan, for you as a yoga teacher when you decided to take your track?
It was a little nerve-wracking doing it the
Yeah.
first time. I mean, obviously practice makes progress, right?
Hmm.
It was definitely nerve-wracking, but like you said, having that yoga studio space, the people are very supportive. The students coming in were very supportive. They offered, feedback, anything from positive to just suggestions or some even stuff that didn't work for them,
Hmm.
understanding those aspects kind of bring awareness to how to get better at being a more observant yoga teacher for myself. So it was really great. And honestly, the yoga was, for me, one of the most transformational programs for myself that really not, it wasn't just a personal healing journey for me, but it gave me those tools to really help other people in their own journey using the philosophy, the meditation. It wasn't just about the physical practice, the sutras, the chakras, all of that stuff. It was really powerful.
Yes. And I have to say, think about all of the ways that you seek health and wellness in the world, whether you go to yoga, whether you go to a spa, whether you seek out, counsel from a coach, a counselor, um, whatever it is, it's such a solid way to build your clientele. You hold that space, but then it's the coaching tools on the back end that allow you to help someone unpack what just came up while they're on your table, while they're on their mat. They need to kind of have a place to go to release that or transform something. But having someone to talk with that won't tell them, it is we sit there, hold space so that you can tell yourself, right? And as coaches, we're here to help hold you accountable to what you say it is that you were ready to shift in your life. So beautiful. Let's jump into the Mind Body Wellness Practitioner Diploma, which is a 600-hour program. The minimum amount of hours that you would need to take to use financial aid if this is for career purposes. So like I said before, mind, body, spirit incorporated so that nothing is left off, right? Everything we work as a whole, and that you can build your own practice with similar focuses. Whoops. Just like we did here. And let me pull up that program sheet because I want you to see the difference. So the Mind Body Wellness, let me zoom in here too. So the core courses here is like you get a little bit of all these goodies. So hypnotherapy, 20-hour intro, foundations of wellness coaching, 20 hours, nutrition, foundation of transformational healing and holistic nutrition. You get a little nibble there. Applied entrepreneurship, introduction to holistic entrepreneurship and self-empowerment. And then comes the business development and entrepreneurial support towards the end of the program. Again, we don't expect everyone to have a full vision when they come on board. Sometimes it's birthed, throughout your journey. Sometimes people come in thinking they want to go hold space for this market, and it turns out it's something totally different that they're passionate about. But that is the conversation that you'd have with a coach on the front end to see where you would then select your focus to be. So Tristan and I went over the health and wellness coach focus first. The option 2 would be the yoga focus. Option 3 would be the spiritual transformation focus. Again, you get to choose electives here, but you'd be taking Reiki or the intuitive guide. So a little bit different. And then your specialty options are down here. So you see there's just different pairings. It's a little bit smaller, and you're not getting the IHAP core courses here. So just want to kind of differentiate that. And Tristan, how do you explain the difference between the two programs? Or if like someone wanted to start this way, can they then transfer it up and into the IHAP?
Good question. The Mind Body Wellness is a 600-hour program. Integrative Healing Arts is 750. So it's a 150-hour difference. The main piece is that, like you said, there's those IHAP core courses. That's a tongue twister. The somatic psychology, building resiliency and stress management, psych of addiction, those classes. That's the main difference. And like you said, I think you put it beautifully, it's a little bit smaller. Obviously it's 150 hours less. The Mind Body Wellness is a year long, where the Integrative Healing Arts is just about a year and a half. And as far as really choosing like, well, which one's right for me? Like you mentioned, it's, do we need to understand like where our office building's going to be and what throw pillows are going to be on our sofa? No. But having that basic understanding of, well, what is it that you want to do? And you really called out admissions, and that's really what admissions does. That's why we call our team admissions coaches. We use the coaching that's really taught within these programs and use that to help our students really figure out what direction they're taking this. And then, like you put so beautifully, in the business classes, that's where you really start grounding it down and really turning that dream into a reality. So it really depends on what that vision is. You mentioned the associate's degree early on. We do offer an associate's degree. And if that is someone's, I'll say final educational goal, even though we call SWIHA Hotel California in a good way, everyone comes back to take more, and that's fine. The IHAP is going to be more seamlessly transferred over to the associate's degree. So this is where, again, admissions can really dig into each individual's life journey. What brought them to SWIHA? That's always one of our most fascinating things to listen to, is how people find us. We've been around for over 30 years, almost 32 years now. And this individual is just now finding us, or just now, finding the courage or whatever it is to reach out and get more information. Right. And so it's always divine timing. We love hearing those stories of how students find us. And there's always a reason, right? There's always a reason someone comes across our school. There's something there for them, whether it's a conversation, one class, a small certificate program, or maybe a full diploma program. So That was a long answer to your very simple question, but
No,
can
perfect.
you tell I'm passionate about admissions?
I can. I can. And I love it so much. You were saying what I was thinking, because we don't want you to think like this is your only option for on campus. You literally have, and I'm going to pull this over because I love our website and I know it's ginormous, but if you scroll and go over all of our programs, I mean, it's almost overwhelming, but I feel like a kid in a candy store, just like giddy when I look at all of the amazing options. And like Tristan said, over 30 years ago, we started as a massage school. But think about all the work we can do externally and internally with the ability to connect with another human. So all of these offerings, whether you intend it to be used to earn an income, whether you want to do this as a hobby, maybe you just want to take one class. I will say that finding SWIHA for me, it made me a healthier, better human being all around the board. As I went into my own healing journey, I thought I was doing a really good job at healing and changing and evolving when I really wasn't doing the deep, deep work. I wasn't holding myself accountable and showing up like I felt like I needed to be. No shame, but I'm so grateful that this education really helped me to walk my talk and to show up more consciously within my relationships, how I communicate, that self-awareness. And it's helped my professional life, my personal relationships. So I would say, no matter where you are in your journey, coaching, I would say alone is a great starting point. What do you say, Tristan?
That I love everything and can say ditto to everything that you just shared. Same girl, same. Um,
Right.
I
Yeah.
you, honestly, when someone is like, I just don't know where to start, the class that I
Mhm.
recommend is the first class of life coaching, which is required in health and wellness coaching, life coaching, and intuitive coaching. So it doesn't matter which coaching direction you end up going, that's the first class. So that is where a lot of magic happens because, like you said about like getting accountable,
Mhm.
sometimes it's hard to be honest with ourselves,
Oh, yeah.
and that is, you know, it's difficult, it's uncomfortable, like a lot of feelings come up and like how do we deal with those feelings. So
Yeah.
I think life coaching, being able to learn how to ask such potent and powerful questions, like most of the time when someone asks me those coaching questions, I'm like, oh, that's a good question, and I really have to think about it. It's not, I usually don't have an answer like immediately following. If I do, it's probably because I'm being defensive, in all honesty. So if I'm keeping it real.
I love
So
your accountability.
I know. So
Yes.
so life coaching is really where it's at. And if someone's not ready to dive into a first class, or they're not ready to make that financial investment in themselves, then we have all those specialty clinics and the massage clinic. We have gifts and graces every single month. The end of March 29th, we have the forgiveness ceremony. We have the fall festival every year. So there's a lot of complimentary stuff that SWIHA offers for people to get involved, to really explore and understand what these modalities mean for them. And I think it helps people get clear on what works for their own healing journey and what's something they actually want to practice. Like you mentioned your hypnotherapy. I love hypnotherapy. It's profoundly changed my life, but I have
Mhm.
learned it is not my gift. And I
Mhm.
love massage, right? And not just to relax, but to be proactive in my health, right? But I'm not a massage therapist. I tried to take the massage program. It didn't go well. So, it's like, you really start to really understand. And that's where being honest with oneself of, is this just something I think that's cool and interesting? Okay, let me just dabble in it versus like, this is my jam. I want to be doing this every single day and getting paid for it. So,
Right. And I
yeah.
love that you said that. We learn what's not for us. Like, I love receiving massage. I don't like to give it. I'm lazy. You can rub me. I don't want to rub you, right? Like, no thanks. But it's knowing those pieces about ourselves that really helps us become successful in our modality. I'm gonna show you one more thing so you have this tool. Well, before we talk about hours, this is our online class calendar. First of all, I love the noise that it makes when I click over. I know you can't hear it because I didn't share my sound, but it makes a super cool sound when you flip the pages. And I want you to know that with those course codes that I showed you, you can then look it up, read the description, look at when it runs, like look at the dates, look at the times, think about your life schedule to get real with yourself, to have the family conversations of friends and family. Guess what I'm thinking about doing? And just kind of setting some healthy boundaries out of the gate, asking for help, like where maybe you need somebody to support you, and give you some help with kids or, whatever it may be. So Tristan, as far as hours go for the IHAP and Mind Body Wellness on campus, would you say that they're mostly night classes or intensive weekend classes?
Both.
Okay.
The core classes for both usually run
Kind of
actually
like
it
this, right?
switches. Yeah,
Kind of like that.
like a Monday, Wednesday, Tuesday, Thursday. I
Mhm.
mean, it depends on the specialties that one
Mhm.
chooses. So those focuses that Becca really went over, some of those focuses run all during the week. So you're going to be on campus, 4 nights a week, maybe a couple of weekends throughout the program. Then there's other specialties where you might only be on campus 2 nights a week, but you're going to have lots of weekends, right? When I say lots of weekends, I don't mean every single weekend, but there's, several throughout the program. So it really, this choosing the specialties really is dependent on schedule, but most of the core classes run during the week.
Yes, good. Thank you. Um, we went over the length of time just so any students know you do get holiday breaks. We want you to have a breather. You're gonna need a breather. You get the week off of 4th of July, Thanksgiving, Christmas, and you will have an assigned advisor. So you'll have like your go-to person to help hold you accountable after you go through admissions. But having that admissions conversations going to be one of the best conversations you may ever have. Maybe you'll get to say some things out loud that you never have before about your passion, your purpose, and really how you want to show up in the world, right? Maybe it's not someone else's, way of success looks. This is your vision. And that's what we want to help you bring to life through this program. So Natalie, Valerie, you're on the webinar with us. Do you have questions or just want to share why you're here? You can talk if you would like. You don't have to go on camera. Valerie, you're unmuted, and Natalie, you're unmuted. Who wants to go first?
I don't mind. This is Natalie.
Hi, Natalie.
Hi. Yeah, so I actually just moved to Arizona. It'll be a year and a week from now. And I'm a nurse. I work at an integrative oncology clinic, and I've done like a nurse coach courses before. I'm also a Reiki master and a yoga teacher.
Ooh, I got chills.
Yeah, and
Good.
I mean, my main priority from what I found is like I love being a nurse, but like energy work and coaching is kind of like where my heart's at. But
Mm,
coming from a medical perspective, it's been really difficult for me to kind of figure out like how to integrate the two with it being more spiritually led rather than medical.
mhm.
So when I found the Integrative Healing Arts Practitioner program, it kind of spoke to me, but I also feel like I'm working through like going back to school because I really, last time I went to school, it was like nursing school. So
Mhm,
I'm
mhm.
just trying to figure out like what my next steps are, and like the IHAP program kind of really calls to me.
Yeah.
And one of the questions that I had, because moving to Arizona, like the biggest thing for me is finding community. So I've been really struggling with, okay, I really love the online courses that you guys have versus like the in-person ones. So that's
Yeah.
kind of where I'm at right now is like, oh, do I do online or do I go in person? So it's it's a lot to think about.
Yes. And I put this picture up here. So this is one of our success coaches, Jasper, and one of our admissions coaches and one of the teachers for the intuitive guide. So you kind of get the woo-woo vibe right here, right? This was like one of our most successful ads and images that we shared.
Mhm.
I thought it wouldn't pop, but it actually was very popular. So, I hear that mainstream medical education was how you went. This will feel very different. I call it like going to counseling, church, and school all at the same time.
Mhm.
Um, but it's really about how you brand yourself and how you're bringing those energy work tools to your already established practice. And coaching really helps you to elevate that because you'll be speaking the language of the person in front of you, right? You'll get to kind of mirror them, know what words will resonate with them and what
Mhm.
words won't resonate with them. So it's kind of like a tool that you learn along the way. Um, so what question do you have related to this? Like, is it just going back to school that you think is
I
an
think
obstacle?
yeah, I think going back to school and like the financial aspect of it is a
Okay.
big thing for me, especially since I used a lot of like my FAFSA and
Yeah.
my other stuff going to nursing school. So
Mhm.
I'm like, oh my gosh, like how do I do this? And
Yeah.
that's
Well, we
kind
do
of
it
what.
logically and with the calculator, and we have interest-free payment plans. I mean, in admissions too, and Tristan's the one who will get real with you before anyone else and just say, hey, like, let's break this down and we have to be realistic of what we can afford, what we can't. Sometimes we can't bite off the full diploma right away, right? If we don't have FAFSA to use anymore,
Mhm.
then maybe starting small and then with a certificate and completing those one at a time and
Mhm.
building your way up might be right for you. I'm going to let Tristan piggyback on that.
Well, I don't know that there's much to piggyback on. You said that, you explained that so beautiful. You must have been in admissions before,
I
Becca.
must have. I
I
must
don't
have.
know. So I mean, everybody's situation is different. And SWIHA, we truly try to not make it about the money. If it's something that that you're wanting to do, we try to help you in a realistic way that works for SWIHA and the student. What is the most realistic way to move forward? Our goal is not to put our students in a boatload of financial aid debt that you can never pay back. Nobody wants that. And so, like Becca said, sometimes starting with a class, and then
Mhm.
sometimes it's like Natalie, like you mentioned, like, how do I integrate this together? We do have a lot of nurses that come and find SWIHA, but and how they want to move forward is like there's no standard way. We've had nurses go down like the energetic massage route, or just energetic, or just massage, health and wellness coaching, or completely, into even yoga, right? So it's really about how do you want to show up. And so it's kind of taking what our current tools are and set the tools aside, right? If I said, hey, we're going to build something, go to Home Depot and pick up some tools and materials, and I don't give you a blueprint, how do you know what to buy? How do you, we don't know what materials to get. And that's the conversation at admissions, is really building at that blueprint. So we understand, okay, well, what additional tools do we need to really build this dream into a reality? So if you already have your life experience, you're already a nurse, maybe I think you said you do Reiki, and there was something else, maybe yoga teacher, whatever it is, it's like, okay, well, that's already in your toolbox. So what's missing? And of what's missing, does SWIHA offer any of that? And maybe it's just a class or a certificate, or maybe it fits all into the integrative healing arts. And when we can understand how we're going to use those tools to build our dream into a reality, then it makes more sense and we can step forward on that path confidently. Does that help?
Yeah. I think we lost her audio, but she's there.
Okay.
Um,
Hopefully that helps, but you can
I
always reach
think
out
it
to
was
us.
good. It was amazing. It was amazing.
Okay.
Valerie, did you want to share as well?
Well, I have always been very spiritual, and my whole life I've always done accounting. But
Mm,
like since COVID, I have been really struggling, and like I never dealt with a lot of my issues. I'm Native American and I was born on the
mm,
reservation. And what
mm,
I feel mostly called to is the shamanic courses,
mm,
because that's who helped me get through all of my issues. And now I'm just obsessed with all of it. I can't get enough of it. And I just like, I spent a year in Sedona just doing healing ceremonies and all
mm.
sorts of things. But I really, I'm really feeling moved to go into this field. So
Yeah.
I had checked out a lot of different schools, but the money factor was the issue. And then I feel like that really was uh a good thing, because now that I'm looking more into it and now I'm getting my grounding on everything I've learned about, I really
Mhm,
like your guys' school. And I was always drawn to your school because it's accredited too. So
mhm.
um that was a big thing for me. Because I want to be as an accountant. That's the accountant part of me speaking, I guess. I want to feel I want to be accredited, because my family's like really religious. So all of this is like,
Yeah.
yeah, they don't like, at first they were like a deer in the headlight look. So especially coming
Yes.
from the accounting field, nobody knows what to think or say or how to act around me anymore. Especially now that I'm
Yes.
all like, everything is just like, I'm like obsessed with it. But I love it. But they've seen the transformation in
Mhm.
me. And
Yeah.
now it's like, I have people asking me things all the time. I'm the go-to person now. And
Yes.
it's like, it's really rewarding, and I love it so much now. And I was wanting to do the mind body wellness, but I really feel like, since the I am going to get the financial aid, I think I want to go ahead and do the whole integrative healing arts practitioner.
Practitioner. You got
Yeah.
it. You said it all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I really
Beautiful.
think that those other courses that because I'm really into the EBGB part of it, because I'm so
Mhm,
spiritual. But
mhm.
I was like, oh, I don't need those other courses. But now that I've been helping people out, I do understand the ethical part of it now, and I need those classes. I see that, you know, it should probably be something that I really need to open up my mindset on, because I can't just go out there and uh, give everybody my mindset. That's just
Right.
not ethical. And I understand that now. And like, when I'm helping people, I always like made sure, well, you got to seek inward, right?
Mm,
And I see
mhm.
that now. So like, I understand why those classes would be important, and they are important. So, um I kind of figured, and it's like you said, it's going to be the Hotel California. I knew that already, because I'm so obsessed with. I already know all these things I'm going to be taking. I just, probably won't. I just want to pick. Like, I don't like. There's some that are like, the hypnotherapy I'm not so much into. The massage I'm not so much in, but there's so many other things I know I'm going to take.
Yeah.
So
And you coached yourself beautifully here. I just want to say that out loud. You've worked through really what you want, what you don't want. And this is a common conversation that we have, that when you say yes and you step into your calling and you remove the other labels, that sometimes we're the black sheep of the family, sometimes we look like the weirdos for a while, and then you'll notice that they start coming to you, right?
yeah,
That's when it's like, okay, this does work. I'm not crazy. And people can see the evolution, right? We're all
right.
energy. And then they're drawn back to you for the reason that, they need to be different for
Right.
everybody. So way to hold that space. And to keep it real, you know, you can talk with an admissions coach to really break down what you want your program to look like so that you build and you're planted with intention. And then you can show up in the world, you know, how you choose.
Right.
All on you. Yeah. And that's beautiful. And I will say, just to, because I've taken the somatic psychology class, if you do have any trauma in your background, you know, just be ready for that space to work through some deeper layers
Oh,
of self.
yeah.
Um,
It's like my releasing of all of those energies it's been a nonstop. Like it
yeah.
started a year ago, and I still am doing it every week because I'm highly empathic,
Mm-hmm.
and I
Yeah.
pick up other people's energies, and like I'm still learning the I guess you call it the boundaries. I don't know a lot of the terminology, but I know what how I feel and
Yes.
what it does to me and how it affects me. And I'm learning about protecting my energy and not letting things and situations overwhelm me because I'm also highly sensitive.
Mhm.
Like this last year I learned so much about myself. I was just like mind
Mm.
blown. Like
Mhm.
I left my job, I sold my home, and I just decided I can't go through any more of these breakdowns. And COVID just made it 100 times worse. So
Mhm.
I just took a whole year off, and I invested in getting myself. I just, I needed to do that because I was just spiraling downward,
Yeah.
and I learned so much about myself. And I like spiritual uh my inner spiritual health is just now I'm just like I feel like I'm floating all the time. That's how
Mm.
wonderful I feel now. So
Wow.
yeah, it's just so
That's
awesome.
amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, good for you, because I know that must have been hard, but you did it, and here you are, floating and stepping into your calling. So yeah, this sounds like a wonderful fit, and I'm excited for you.
Me too.
Sounds like perfect timing, divine timing, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Tristan, anything you would add on to that for Valerie?
Honestly, no. Like you said, you are answering your calling, stepping forward on that path. And this is, girlfriend, you are on the path. That's what it sounds like to me.
Yeah, most definitely.
Good. Well, welcome to SWIHA. And just to answer, you know, Natalie's question too, is this place doesn't feel like school to me. It feels like community. It feels like family. It feels safe. You know, even when you walk into the building, you just feel held. It gives me chills to say that out loud. I did go to mainstream college, you know, I got my BA, and I didn't love the education, the institution, like the way that it's run, but SWIHA makes you feel very safe, very held, and it is very purposeful education. It's actually education that you'll use versus like, you know, some education that you get and you're like, when am I ever going to use this in my real adult life? Never. And when my 14-year-old son says that about some math classes, I'm like, I can't even argue with you, but you got to take it anyways for now. So now you get to choose the education that you actually get to apply for self, and that you can help others, you know, do their human work too, like why we're here, right? What we're here
Right.
to do. So, I'm so excited for you, Valerie. Very
Oh, thank
exciting.
you. Me too. I am so
Yes.
excited.
Did you schedule an appointment with a coach yet?
So, yes, I have my,
Okay.
I think it's March, the beginning of March.
Okay. Cool. Just want to make sure you've talked with the coach, you have it all in the works. And Natalie, did you have any last questions too? I still see you on here. I think you muted yourself, which is why, but I think you're good.
Oh
There you
yeah,
are.
I got kicked out for a minute, but
Oh, okay.
I don't think I have any questions right now. I think I'm probably going to end up calling just to go talk to someone in person because I feel like I have like 1,000,001 questions that I need to write down and like go in and talk to someone. But yeah, it's been super helpful and inspirational, and thank you for showing up
You're
the way
so
in this.
welcome. Yes, you're so welcome. Tristan, I told you I wasn't going to do an hour, but look what happened. I did it again.
It does not feel like an hour. It feels like 15 minutes.
Yeah.
I could do this all night. I could do this all night and day with y'all. It's just so beautiful. So thank you for coming. We hope to see you soon. Remember that we do have a massage clinic in there. So if you want to come in and get a massage, call in advance to make sure you can go do admissions and then get a massage
Nice.
after or before, whatever floats your boat. But yeah, you give us a call. You can email us. We have chat on the website. So whatever it is you feel called to do, we are here to hold that space and help you move that forward in your life. So thank y'all
Awesome.
for being here. I hope everybody
Thank
has a blessed and
you.
beautiful evening. Yes,
Thank
thanks for
you.
joining us and thank you for sharing. That's a big deal. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
Okay.
Good night.
Bye-bye.
Good night.
Bye.